This is our first video on our prefixes for our lexicon. What we're practicing is what you will be doing in the future with your group. This is our first prefix, un. So I'm going to open my lexicon and I'm going to go to my pink page. So it says morpheme and page number. Now, when I skip my two pink pages, I've made this my page 1. If that seems illogical to you, I understand, but I've made the choice, I've written it in pen. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to write down the number 1. And then I'm going to write down, let's see, un. And then I'm going to make a note for myself. That's a prefix. And I know that a prefix comes at the beginning of the word. Now, I am going to promise you that we have plenty pink paper. So if you need to make extra notes here for your own brain, that's fine. So I'm going to make a note for my brain right now that just says prefix comes at the beginning of a word. Okay, that's what prefix means. Now I'm going to go to my green paper. Okay, so here's my page 1 and my very first entry for my morphemes. Over here, I'm going to write un. You can make it as big as you want. I do want to make this part to be simple or simplistic. So I'm going to write un, u, n, and I'm going to put my little dash mark there so I know it comes at the beginning of a word, and then down here I'm going to write again prefix. Because for my brain to remember something, I have to repeat it over and over and over again. And for us, our goal today is that we know what un means when I see it in a word. So every time you have a new word, I'm going to give you basically slides on paper. So our first prefix is un, and I've written that down, and I have that in my table of contents. And here's my definition. Un means not or the opposite of. So I'm going to look for my pencil again. My notes. Here, I'm going to write not. And also the opposite okay, so not and the opposite of. I'm going to move to my next slide. Unhappy. So un, in this case, means not. And I have my little old lady. She's got 2 thumbs down. She is not happy. I'm going to write down my word unhappy here. Then my next slide. Unhappy equals not happy. It is defined as not happy. So then I'll just say unhappy. I like to do arrows. You don't have to do an arrow. Not happy. And then I'm going to imagine my little old lady with her thumbs down. Not happy. And then I have a sentence. The class was unhappy because the field trip was canceled. So now I see the word with my prefix un, and this is my root, unhappy. I know that it means not happy, and I see how it is being used in a sentence. The class was unhappy because the field trip was canceled. I can also read it as the class was not happy because the field trip was canceled. Now, to help my brain understand what that means, I'm going to write the sentence here. The class was unhappy, and I swear I can make my H look like an H. I'm going to underline un. The class was unhappy because the field trip was canceled. Or as this little old lady says, or I imagine to say, boo! Okay, the next slide says unearth. So here, ignore these lines. You do not have to contain your notes. And I don't know, just don't worry about it. I'm going to give myself space because otherwise I write all over myself. I'm going to write the word here, unearth. Okay, and let's look at the picture. I have a shovel that's in dirt, and over here I see some more equipment, and I see people in a hole and a lot of dirt. So unearth, what do you think that means? And if I look up here, it says un, the opposite of. So unearth, to take out the earth, dig up. So now I'm going to come back over here to my notes. Unearth. And if you want, choose one. For the case of notes today, I don't want you to panic that you're doing anything wrong. However you take notes is typically right. The idea here is that you are leaving the lesson knowing what un means as a prefix. So let's see if I can put this under here so you don't have to be totally tortured with my own writing. Unearth. I like dig up first, so I'm going to write that one first. Dig up. Then I'm going to do my little semicolon. Take out of the earth. All right, so when your dog is in the backyard digging holes, he is unearthing treasures, or that is probably how he feels. And then our example sentence says, they were ready to unearth the buried treasure. And I'm going to write that right here. Make sure you're not being totally tortured by my handwriting, which we all know is perfect. Let's see, they were ready to unearth the buried there. They were ready to they were ready to unearth the buried treasure. Now this is supposed to be one word, not whatever I have here. So just imagine that I put these here. Fine. Meant to be one word. Does that look better? Yeah. And then I'm just trying to underline un so you see that it's important. All right? And that's it. Then I have my prefix un. I understand what the definition is, which is not or the opposite of. In some of these, it also uses the word undo. So if you know what undo means, you can also write that down. Let's see, what else do I have here? Now I have a word study. I'm going to let you look at this, and then we will do something more with it later. We have unusual, not usual, unrest, not at rest, unable, not able, unlucky, not lucky, unfair, not fair, unwrap, to undo the wrap, unskilled, not skilled, unhitch, to undo the hitch, unbind, to undo the binding, unhappy, not happy, and unfair, to undo. I messed up. Make sure that you have these notes for now and that we are practicing how to do an entry within our lexicon. Don't forget, our first morpheme is un. It is a prefix. It comes at the beginning of the word, and it means not or the opposite of. Thank you.